Macys is closed. So we're not going to go shopping anymore. So it's closed. What are we going to do? You watch this video, okay? Macys is closed. Okay? I like your miraculous pendant, Angel.
See what Sophie, I think is her name. See what she has to say. I know, septum piercing, difficult.
Raised in the city, Sophia says she has fond holiday memories with her family at Macys. The store has been the backdrop to countless parades and celebrations for nearly 100 years.
Christmas time, I remember it was always like filled up. It felt like New York almost, like with hella people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
The impending closure will impact around 500 jobs, but it won't happen overnight. It's estimated to take up to a few years to identify a buyer. The Union Square Alliance emphasized that there will still likely be a Macys.
Who's gonna buy it? Who's gonna buy it?
Great tree in 2024. Still, Sophia says it will be hard to not have that familiar accessibility to the iconic store she's known and loved since she was young.
I remember when I was little, me and my mom would come shopping, like it was a thing on the weekends to come shopping and then go to Cheesecake first and then just walk around, but can't really do that anymore. It's not much to look at. Unless you have like money, then there's all these like designer stores, but not a lot of people have money.
Sophia feels like a lot of her peers have turned to online shopping anyway, and she worries about problems with unhoused individuals nearby worsening with such a...
There it is buried, right? The unhoused people, not the crazy psychopaths pooping everywhere, the unhoused individuals.
Gap in the city center. Still, as an SF native, she has continued hope for her city.
I feel like it could go back to how it used to be because a lot of people came here and I feel like the malls were a big thing because you had somewhere to go.
And until a new buyer claims the opportunity, Sophia will be enjoying Union Square as it evolves from season to season.
Now, the good news is Macys does plan to continue their annual Christmas tree celebration this year. Back to you, Liz.
Oh, hey, who's that?
Thank you so much.
All right.
Well, meanwhile, safety, we mentioned it earlier, around that area of Union Square has been a key issue for San Francisco Mayor London Breed. Now, before the start of last year's shopping season, city officials pledged to make Union Square the safest place in urban America. Mayor Breed even brought in community ambassadors to patrol the area, along with SFPD deploying additional officers to the shopping district. Mayor Breed also launched a plan to revitalize the Powell Street corridor to Union Square. And many of these safety measures went into place following this smash and grab from 2021 at the Louis Vuitton store in the Union Square area. 9 people were charged in that theft, and other nearby retail stores were also vandalized that night. In an effort to bring tourists...
So that's one of the huge issues, is that she has put a full court press on crime in this area in the hopes that other big retailers like Macys don't blow out of town. So when Macys announced on yesterday that this was happening, it was like, oh, good Lord, we got to do some damage control, and we're going to hear some of her damage control. It's good political speak. I give her credit for just the double talk. Well, we'll get into that.
Back to the area, the mayor brought in celebrity chef Tyler Florence. He opened 2 restaurants at the end of last year. And today, with Macys announcing its departure, the mayor is optimistic for the future of the location.
Well, just to be clear, Macys made a business decision to close 150 stores all over the country. We're really excited for the opportunity to work with the Union Square Alliance and other retailers and businesses that we talk to explore what other possibilities exist.
Now, today's announcement.
You've got a 400,000 square foot building by one of America's most iconic retailers. Retailers are having a tough time. Nobody wants that amount of space. Nobody wants it in this area of San Francisco. So what are you going to do? What are your plans here? She has to punt. She has to basically just say, yeah, we're really optimistic for the future, because she has nothing else to go on. everybody knows that this area of town has been just hard hit and run into the ground. What's the term? Run hard and put away wet. You talking about a horse? Something like that. This part of town, let's take a look. We'll finish out this video. Right after this video, we'll take a look on the map of where it is. It's wedged in between the Tenderloin, in between the Tenderloin and the financial district, which is just a hollowed out core of massive retail buildings, of office buildings.
And it follows a wave of retail closures in downtown San Francisco, including Nordstrom at Westfield, along with Old Navy, Aldo, J. Crew, and Madewell.
And with San Francisco's doom loop still part of that political narrative, with Mayor Linda Breed running for re-election in November, her opponents wasted no time blaming Macys' closure on City Hall. Ann Makovic has more on their take on this closure. Hey, Ann.
Yeah, this was a no-brainer politically, the closure announcement happening under London Breed's watch at a time when the city's business climate is already really under the microscope. Former mayor and current candidate Mark Farrell tweeting today, this is a gut punch and scary news for San Francisco. We can't afford another 4 years of failed leadership. We also heard today from candidate Daniel Lurie.
If you walk around the streets here, you see people in mental distress. You see people doing drugs openly on the streets outside. There's also not a level of certainty when you do business in San Francisco.
And the other big name candidate for mayor, Asha Safai, a member of the Board of Supervisors, tweeting, "We have what it takes to be innovative and turn this into an opportunity to be visionary and bring back SF's downtown with mixed uses that promote foot traffic and economic activity." Now, others are taking this as a chance.
Focus on everything else but the actual issues right in front of you, which is the streets of San Francisco. San Francisco itself is no longer safe. You got bipping going on, you got crazy people, you got, drugs. And San Francisco has been working towards, dealing with some of these issues. But again, this kind of stuff is not going to happen overnight. No matter what you end up doing. I mean, this is going to be years in the making. So you're going to have this fallout moving forward. This is what you get. Let's, I know. We got to suck it up. We got to hear a little bit of Mayor London Breed more.
Macys made a business decision to close 150 stores all over the country, and they are selling the property at Union Square. It will remain open until whatever decision happens around the sale and transition. We don't know necessarily what that could mean for Macys, but we do believe this could be still an opportunity for San Francisco. I mean, this is an iconic location. This is in Union Square. We've had...
Was an epic location. Union Square was an epic place for people to go shopping. But when that whole, 400% increase in the poop incidences on the elevator, yeah, not so much anymore, because you just got a bunch of crazy people running around. And then you don't have the people from the business community in the financial district. They're not there. So you've got this hollowed out core next to this, filled up core with Looney Tunes, drug addicts, just the Walking Dead. So who's gonna say, you know what, that's a great building, that's 400,000 square feet, that is an opportunity, let me in. Let me in. Who's gonna do that? What retailer that has the capability, what developer is gonna do that? We're gonna find out, aren't we? Some kind of bottom feeder with a big pair of you-know-what. This looks like a pretty good deal. It needs a little fixing up, this area, but we can handle it.
And even this past holiday season, between November 20th and the end of the year, we've seen a significant decline in crime, and so we know this has nothing to do with that decision.
Bullshit. 100% bullshit right there. She put millions of dollars into extra security, extra cops. She went ham on just trying to clean up this area because she knew the optics of more store closures is horrific. And now some jackass in Seattle is live streaming this very topic, right? I mean, this is the reality. It's the hard reality that this area is in play. And because something like Macys is such a, iconic deal. It's Macys in San Francisco, and now it's closed. Metaleo, closed, right? So when she tells you it's not crime, that is not true. See her, watch her eyes when she darts away. That's when she's lying.
And it's really a larger
there it is.
Business decision that Macys has made. And we're really excited for the opportunity to work with the Union Square Alliance and other retailers and businesses that we talk to explore what other possibilities exist, because Macys, as I said, the initial closures are not, this is not necessarily part of the first initial 50 closures. This store is anticipated to definitely be open through the end of the year. And it all depends on the market and who purchases and what it's purchased for and the transition, similar to, what we dealt with the Safeway on Webster Street. The person who purchased the property agreed to, and Safeway agreed to allow them to stay on the property and stay open. And so there are definitely possibilities here. This is not like Nordstrom's where they say we're leaving, we're exiting, and it's certainty. This is a completely different situation, and I look at it as an opportunity.
I know that you've worked. The massive difference is Macys owns this building, right? Nordstrom was leasing. Hey, we are out of here. No more poop in the elevator shenanigans for us. We're gone. No more of this people coming in and just stealing stuff. No more not making money. And I think that is probably the biggest. The Macys indicated that this store is underperforming, meaning it's not, making enough sales. So you've got private security up the backside in Macys, guaranteed. They've got that store loaded with private security. So you're going to have some shoplifting, but overall, it's an issue of this isn't a viable shopping area anymore. This area, this community, Union Square in San Francisco is no longer viable. And Macys is just kind of, we're out of here. We're gone. We're doing the last thing. And yeah, we're going to let it stay open until 2025. But, that's because these things with big buildings like this, they take forever to get a deal through. And then they're going to have to probably go through some plans and some architecture. This thing's going to be in play forever. So Macys just decided, okay, we're going to announce this along with our other store closures. They're closing a bunch of stores. And it's because, retail has gone online. And then in areas oftentimes where these stores are, there's not a lot of people there, either employees or shoppers, because shoppers are scared and the employees are working from home. So, yeah.
Work to try to get these areas with some flexibility in rezoning. Are you hoping to get one tenant in there, or are we hoping to get different tenants?
Great question.
Break it up, perhaps? I mean, is that one?
Yeah, well, to be clear, Macys owns the building, and they will be selling the building to another possible developer or investors or what have you. So it really will be the decision of the person who is trying to buy it, but our responsibility is to make sure that we make it clear on what we can do, and that is changes to zoning, working collaboratively in order to introduce new uses, which could be a number of different uses. I mean, we're open to whatever possibilities that.
You could sell whatever you want in that space. So obvious, right? It's just, she is just talking for the sake of talking, because this is not looking good, and this is impacting her, her function as mayor. Hey, mayor, what about Macys closing? When she saw that headline, she's like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is not good. I've been working so hard at trying to, divert all these resources to taking care of this, trying to clean up, San Francisco. What was wild was Gavin Newsom came in and he cleaned it up, right? He said, hey, get this cleaned up. And in a handful of days, they did. Now, that's because it was clean for a couple of days, but with the situation, then that was for basically Chinese leadership to come in. Okay, we're going to do some business here. We're going to invest some billions in here. What Mayor London Breed is facing is the big picture, which is this area is no longer viable for shopping, and it's a money loser. And Macys said, no more, we're done.
Would allow for retail or any other possible use in the area. The building right next to Macys, the old I Magnum building, will become, it is still under construction, but the bottom floor will remain retail. The middle level will be office space, and the top level will be housing. And even across the street, we have a new rooftop restaurant. We have spoken to the folks.
All right. So she gets into, she's just justifying kind of what's going on here. But yeah, let's go ahead and we're going to read this story. I had heard zero rumors on this store closing. I look at a whole bunch of real estate stuff still because it does interest me. But let's kill this. Yeah, this kind of came out of left field. I mean, all these stores, they're making announcements. All right, moving forward, this is what we're going to do. This Macys was a big one because this is it for Macys in San Francisco. The flagship Macys location in San Francisco's once bustling Union Square shopping district is one of the stores set for closure in the wake of the company's Tuesday announcement that it would be closing 30% of its locations, city officials confirmed Tuesday. San Francisco Business Times broke the news of the huge downtown San Francisco store closure Tuesday morning, citing an unnamed source with knowledge of the company's plans. There's dozens of people out there that knew this. They're just trying to keep it, on the down low until when they actually go with corporate speak guy who's like, yeah, with much consideration and heavy hearts, we're sad to say that we're closing these stores, but please join us at the stores we're keeping open that aren't in areas where you've got zombies walking around and, issues with poop in the elevator. Please join us at those stores along with our store, Macys.com, online. You don't have to deal with all those other shenanigans. That's happening every day to these big corporate stores that once had a physical footprint, and they're now recognizing, yeah, not a lot of shoplifting happening online, is there? No, pretty tough to do that. According to the report published by the Business Times, Macys plans to keep the location at 170 O'Farrell Street in operation until it can find a buyer for the real estate that the company owns. The impending closure will impact around 500 jobs. You know what? I told you earlier, we're going to get back to this. We're going to read the rest, but here's where this is located. Here is the Tenderloin. Let's blow this up a little bit. Here's Mission, right through here. Here is Macys. Here's Union Square area. Here is the Tenderloin. You are literally a couple of blocks from the Tenderloin. That's not good, folks. That is not good. And then the map indicates financial district here, but you're kind of up all in through in here. So you're wedged in between a hollowed out financial district and Crazy Town in the Tenderloin. So it is not shocking that all of this stuff in here has absolutely gone sideways. I mean, just look at the map. So until you get the Tenderloin squared away, which I don't know that you ever will. I mean, it's just one of those areas. What are you going to do? You're going to turn all those SROs, the single room occupancy, into something else? I mean, where are you going to put all the drug addicts? You're not putting them into treatment. You're not putting them into, all the folks on the streets. What are you doing with them? There's no real plan for that because the resources it would take to square that away are horrific. And, all these cities are struggling with budget cuts. We've got this budget, and you want to spend some more money on putting people in housing in the Tenderloin? Not really. So this is the fallout. This is what's going on. You've got this fallout. And then the downtown financial district. I mean, you've got occupancy, you've got vacancy rate in San Francisco that is what, now 36% and climbing? I once jokingly said, hey, at some point in time, we might hit 40%. We're on our way. We're on our way for San Francisco to be hitting 40%. And this retail closure right here is right in line with what's going on. Now, there are a lot of talks about how you're going to have AI come in. I don't know if you guys saw the chatbot GPT that brought out the technology called Sora, which is you can type in a few codes of, or a few sentences of description for a video, and with AI tools, it creates some just mind-blowing video up to a 1 minute sequence, 1 minute segment of video. That technology is wild because then you can now, somebody did a porn with Taylor Swift, and it was so lifelike that people were like, hey, is this real? Is this Taylor Swift doing porn? Getting pounded? Is this Taylor Swift? It was a big deal, right? But the other things that you've got going on there are, all right, so somebody impersonates Trump. Somebody impersonates Biden. This looks like Biden. Look at what he's saying. Oh my word. You've got all kinds of opportunity for that kind of thing, because now you can basically duplicate reality, and if you don't know that you're watching AI, you wouldn't know, because it is so detailed and so subtle that you'd think that you're just watching some video with some kind of filter on it. You know, you've got those filters on Instagram and Facebook. You know, make me look skinny. Yeah, it's like that, but it's more Google Sora. Yeah, maybe the woolly mammoth. Woolly mammoth video is just pretty wild stuff. Union Square Macy's is one of the retailer's largest and oldest locations. It has anchored the San Francisco shopping district for nearly a century, since it opened in early March of 1929. When did I know the Great Depression happened in 1929. What month did it happen in? Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know. When the company was operating under the name of O'Connor, Moffett & Co. Early Tuesday, the company went public with its plans to close roughly 150 as the struggling retailer attempts to energize its business. You know, I'm not a huge Macy's fan because Macy's bought out the Bon Marché, which was a chain here in the Pacific Northwest. They took over the Bon. I think the Bon had gone bankrupt. Never a big Macy's fan, and I always feel like Macy's is kind of, I don't know, I don't want to be locationist, but I'm a Bellevue guy and I'm a Seattle guy, and we support Nordstrom. Nordstrom family lives in Bellevue, lives in Seattle. They're all over. I feel like Macy's is a notch below Nordstrom. I'm being, you know, I like this one, I don't like this one, I shop at this one, I don't go over there. So I've never been a big Macy's fan, but, you know, this is an iconic store, so you got to respect that. And now, with its closing, you're like, all right, that makes about sense, doesn't it? The department store chain says it plans to focus on expanding its luxury brands Bloomingdale's and Blue Mercury. Macy's will shutter 50 stores. Last month, Macy's rejected a $5.8 billion takeover offer from investing firm Arkhouse Management and its partner Brigade Capital Management. I remember seeing something on that, but I don't follow the details of this. I follow just straight up real estate, and that was a business merger or takeover, I think it was. While Macy's is yet to respond to a CBS News Bay Area request for comment, San Francisco Mayor London Breed said the Macy's Union Square will not be among the first 50 stores. She's just trying to come up with positives as to why, hey, this isn't all bad. This is an opportunity, not because of crime. Look the other way. My eyes are darting around. Yep. The city will continue to work closely with Macy's and any potential new owner to ensure this iconic location continues to serve San Francisco for decades to come. No, they're out of there. They've made the decision. There's nothing that's going to happen between now and say the end of 2025 for San Francisco that is really going to turn things around. We have already seen what millions and millions and millions of dollars and a all hands on deck approach does to San Francisco. It cleans it up temporarily for a couple of days. But that's not what a retailer needs to say. A retailer needs to see clean streets, no poop maps, no poop emoji maps, no crazy people being washed down on the sidewalk because they're, you know, all of this ridiculous. No more bipping. I mean, you got to cut the bipping down. You know, this is all in a city with incredibly high rent, both retail and residential. So this is all super expensive. And that's why, you know, folks they don't have the resources right now to make all of this go. And the city of San Francisco has let all of this go for far too long. And here you are, Macy's is closing. The city is committed to fostering the building's best possible future. No, they're not. San Francisco is probably one of the most difficult cities to construct anything in. Permitting, fees, you name it. I mean, just analysis after analysis after analysis before you even start to build something. And that's why these things they're so expensive. So who wants to go through and retrofit a 400,000 square foot building? Oh, we're going to find out, right? That's the beauty of it. Or is it just going to sit vacant for years? I could see that happening. There's the old Macys building. It's gone. I'm also continuing to talk to leaders in retail business and real estate about how we can continue to focus on the long-term success of this site and others. Well, yeah, there's a reason they're shutting the store down right now. Maybe look into that a little bit more. Because you already said that it's not crime. Ha! And then you glanced around. This is a tremendous opportunity at this site? Okay, all right. I'm going to let somebody run with that. Somebody, smarter than I is going to come in and go, okay, here's what we can do. But the fact of the matter, this isn't a 50,000 square foot site. This isn't a 10,000 square foot site. Where you put, a decent sized little store. This is massive. It's multi-story. It's in an old building. It probably needs a ton of retrofit because Macys has had it, since 1929. It's probably had layer after layer after layer of renovation and remodeling. For somebody to come in, they're going to have to put massive amounts of money into it, or cut it up. And then you're going to have to retrofit it and you have to go through all kinds of craziness. Is somebody going to take that risk? Well, we're going to find out, right? I appreciate Macys' partnership and their commitment to working with us. That being said, as someone who grew up in San Francisco, Macys has always been a lot to the people of this city. And that's why they're pissed it's closing down. Like, what's going on? You said you were working on stuff. What are you doing? Mayor London Breed is working on stuff, but it's kind of like Biden going to Brownsville tomorrow. It's a day late, a dollar short. You know what I mean? Biden's had 3 years to go to the border, and now he's going to the least crossed area along the southern border. Doesn't that figure? You know where Trump's going? The most crossed up until recently, when now it's Arizona and California. Trump's going to Eagle Pass. He's gonna see what's going on, because he's going there because the whole Texas deal, and God bless America and God bless the National Guard. He's gonna play that up. His speech from Eagle Pass, that should be entertaining. Locals are shaken by news is our next segment here. 400,000 square foot department store has shaped countless memories. All right, that includes 21-year-old barista Sophia Arana. Okay, so we heard Sophia speak for a little bit, and I've been here for so long, this building. Well, how old are you, Sophia? You got to be maybe 25, so you've been there for, not that long. Especially for Union Square. Macys is what you think of. You think about the Cheesecake Factory on top. Well, probably not anymore. Probably not anymore. Without all those folks being there, Cheesecake Factory, we're going to be closing some non-viable stores moving forward. So the rest of this is just basically saying the locals are upset. They don't want to see yet another store closure, but they're the ones living there, and they are the ones that have voted the politicians in that have allowed the situation in Union Square to get to where it is now. And that ultimately is why Macys is closing down, because of political decisions that have been made. Hey, let's decriminalize drugs. Let's just let that run rampant. Should be fine. Let's let people live wherever the F they want. Let's not take care of crime. Let's let criminals break into stores repeatedly. Let's let these dash and grabs go. Let's let bipping go.
Remember that, Angel?
Racism.
Remember that?
Arrest people and throw
Okay,
them in
so
jail.
Macys are gone. Macys is gone. So what are we going to do?
We're out of here.
Okay,
Sell this building.
they're gonna
And,
sell this building.
and move on. Now, the one
So-
thing I would say is that
Okay.
Macys has had
So,
difficulties. They've been having
we have
financial
nothing
difficulties along with
place
a lot
to
of
go.
other retail.
Okay,
But if they were making money at this one location, this would be a different story.
we'll
wouldn't it?
just say
Wildly
goodbye.
different story. But that's not what we're talking about. Instead, what we're talking about is,
And to the mayor,
Knows.
goodbye also.
all right, I'm going to wrap up this segment. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for supporting.